back to my channel. Thank you for joining in. Okay, today we're going to be discussing a movie directed in 1974 by Jack Hill, and the movie is called The Swinging Cheerleaders. All right, hope you guys are ready because I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. All right, so first off, I'm going to have to tell you guys about this movie, Swinging Cheerleaders. It's a movie by Jack Hill, and this movie was made in 1974. This is one of his final movies. He released two movies after this one, but it was Switchblade Sisters and Sorceress. I seen Switchblade Sisters when Quentin Tarantino actually came out with a DVD release of this through his production line called Rolling Thunder. The movie, I thought it was really good. It had a lot of action. It was very similar to this one, in styles and different styles, I guess. But I like Switchblade Sisters better. This one, well, I'm gonna tell you guys about it. So he got that has that had that movie Switchblade Sisters right after this one, and then Sorceress. He actually had another alias um, that he had in this movie. He was the alias was a different name. It wasn't under his name. It's kind of weird. Um, and that was his last film actually. So he started writing about meditation books right after this. And yeah. Anyways, about the movie though, and the direction. The ones that I saw also of his was um, there's Coffee, Foxy Brown, which had Pam Grier in it, Big Dollhouse, and then the Big Bird Cage as well. The first one before that, then I still have to see Spider Baby, which has Sid Haig. And a lot of his movies actually did have Sid Haig, which is pretty cool because for those who don't know who Sid Haig is, he was Captain Spaulding in The House of a Thousand Corpses, as well as The Devil's Rejects, and then Three from Hell, which was just released last year. So he worked with him a lot, and actually, it's Jack Hill is one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite directors because he stole, oops, robs, maybe put a little bit of his influence in a few of his movies, especially with the direction of having these crazy ass fights, you know. And you can see that in a little bit of Kill Bill, and you can see that a little bit, mostly just Kill Bill, yeah. Um, Kill Bill, and then you can see that Nurse, which is Coffee, which based on the Nurse, a little bit of that. So we need to watch that one. Anyways, that's Jack Hill, not to be confused with Walter Hill, who's the director of The Warriors. Yeah, his style is totally different. Um, so, anyways, this movie is exploitation comedy. It's basically a story of this girl that pretty much she goes undercover trying to write this story, and it's about how the cheerleaders' lives actually is. Kind of not only that, but just kind of expose them to kind of like, do we really need cheerleaders in high school? Um, because it's all sexualized up, and so I don't know what they were trying to say in the '70s about the sexuality, maybe, but whatever they're trying to point, um, yeah, they kind of exploited it here in this movie. So yeah, it's a exploitation movie, and it actually came out at a time when the studios were making all these cheerleader movies, Cheerleaders, and then this one. And there's another one called Satan's Cheerleaders, which just the I don't know, just the cover art I've seen. It's just fucking funny. So I just kind of wonder what that's about. yeah, I'm just kind of like, huh, okay, interesting. I'll probably eventually watch those because they've seen a lot of exploitation movies. The women in prison ones, seen a couple here and there. But exploitation ones, I kind of like seen it's like I Spit on Your Grave, Last House on the Left. Um, so I definitely want to watch more. There was a book that I read like years ago, and this book was called Sleazoid Express. I gotta go find it on Amazon again once all this quarantine crap comes out. I'll probably have to read it again. It's a really good good book about movies, kind of like in the Grindhouse era and the exploitation movies, and it talks just about all these genres and subgenres, and it's just very interesting book, especially for people that might like myself and probably you guys out there that love a lot of movies. Yeah, you guys are gotta have to read it. It's like a one of those books like Asian trash cinema, you know, that you just have to read. But yeah, so basically, the girl goes undercover. Um, and yeah, back to that story. The girl goes back in undercover, tries to exploits the cheerleaders, and expose there's something going on with the football team. Like the football team is kind of, I don't know, kind of like something's weird about them. You know, like the scores are too high, and like, hey, our team won, but why? Because it's kind of funny. One thing I thought was pretty funny about this movie is that you see the people watching the game, but the actual players, I think it's what can you say about it? I think it's stock footage. I don't know. I think Jack Hill did it on purpose, or maybe he didn't have the budget to have all the people in uniform forms. And I'm thinking that because um, movie was made up for 140,000 or something like that, and it's like I think they're just spending more money on the production, like the cars and the weed and the alcohol and the actors, and I don't think they had any time to really actually get more extras. I mean, yeah, there's some extras you'll see in there watching the game, but I don't think they had enough to actually have the football players to play. And to me, I think that was kind of funny him put in that. That's if he actually did, and which I think he did, by just looking at the editing. Anyways, I just want to go ahead and go to the first scene. All right. It was a little bit cold, so I had to go ahead and get a jacket, but I am back. And right before I started talking about the trailer, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the actors. So the actors in this movie are George Wallace, Joe Johnston plays Katie, um, and then there's Cheryl Smith, and she was in Phantom of the Paradise. So pretty much, let me get into this trailer. I'll go ahead and let you guys see what I'm talking about before I talk about my favorite scenes in the movie. Okay. All right. Okay. So right now we're gonna watch the trailer. I'm gonna tell you guys what it is. Well, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, like I said, the movie was made in 1974, starring Cheerleaders, and it was released through Centaur Releasing. All right. All right. As you can see, it's the Swinging Cheerleaders title, football team, all its glory. You can see it's like a fun movie. I wasn't taking this movie very serious. And you see that one of the cheerleaders right here is talking to. Oh, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Uh, yeah, it's a fight, kissing scene, and then I kind of like how they edit this one. It's pretty funny. The trailer has pretty much old action sequences um, in the movie itself, and then see the football team, which I'm like, do they actually just use the stock footage? I don't even know. Not even sure what happened there. Rated R, of course, because it has nudity and blood and language, all the good stuff. As you can see. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the first scene now. This first scene right here, it's pretty much the cheerleader tryouts of Katie's character. And yeah, so you can see Joe Johnston, she's gonna go ahead and perform right in front of the cheerleader crew that's already chosen. You've probably seen a lot of this stuff before, kind of like in Bring It On movies. So yeah, okay. Here's the scene. So horrible addition in the beginning. We're pretty much telling this girl she pretty much can't cheerleader because she's too optimistic and too damn happy. And then, of course, you got the asshole jocks in the movie, which I always find funny. And they're trying to, sweet talk the ladies. And of course, the girls, the main cheerleaders, like, get the fuck out of my face. And it just goes their separate ways and just watch what's really happening. What's funny is, Joe Johnston, who plays Katie, is kind of like trying to be sexual with this guy, trying to hit on him. I guess that eating the apple is the way she does it. All right, so this is pretty much what makes her the cheerleader. You don't find out that until like about the next scene. And yeah, because they discussed it and everything. But this is pretty much the winning cheerleaders, and this is how she goes undercover to be the news reporter, to write the in the newspaper for the high school. But pretty much that's pretty much it. Yeah. All right. That's basically it. That's what sets up the whole movie for the swinging cheerleaders. And if they didn't have this scene, then well, the movie wouldn't even start, or like, you know. All right. Well, next scene I'm gonna go ahead and talk about. Pretty much, the exploitation movies that I've seen they always seem to have like a rape scene or like a scene where the girl gets beat up or like some messed up thing happens. So in this scene, pretty much, um, one of the football players is about to go ahead and kick Katie's boyfriend's ass because Katie's boyfriend's um, got one of the cheerleaders, which was a
Cut him up, freak!
What are you talking about, man?
You know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna thrash you within an inch of your life, and I want to see you try and defend yourself like a man, if you can imagine what that might be like.
Out of your fucking mind?
Come on, Get up, and don't give me any of that we shall overcome routine either.
Not this time, pig. This is my house.
All right, so the last scene that I'm going to show you is pretty much near the end of the movie, and pretty much I'm not going to give away the ending itself, but you can definitely see that this is, like I said, the Jack Hill stuff that I was hoping more of it. Just these silly fights that happened. Um, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. He's kind of like a master of what he did with these fights, um, and these action sequences at the time. So Jack Hill, that was his thing. It was kind of like a Russ Meyer kind of like influenced, but instead of the women be all big breasted, they mostly had, you know, they're more skinny and more petite for some reason. So they have that kind of like that same energy, but this one kind of lacked that same energy, and it wasn't as funny, and it was more like leans more to the exploitation side. And I don't know, but I'll just go ahead and let you guys um, watch this last scene. Pretty much, the setup is the police officers. They kind of like arrested the star quarterback, and the quarterback and Katie learn about what actually is happening to the games, the football games, because they are getting kind of like um, they're kind of like getting conned, and this whole thing happens, and he pretty much wants to go ahead and reveal, you know, this whole thing that's happening in their eyes, but they did this whole cough thing, and they planted marijuana on him, and they took him to a secret hideout, and they're pretty much just getting him drunk so he can't play the football game. So here it goes, and he's already drunk in this first part. Pretty funny. All right, so you can see he's really drunk. They're there to they're there to help him and stuff, you know, with the help of the professor. Bam, knocks him out, punches him in the punch. Pretty funny. And then this guy's trying to be like Jim Kelly, at least to me. That's what it reminds me of. So he's jumping on his back, and this is pretty funny. Uh, hmm, man, see, they don't make movies like this anymore. You know, just a lot of CGI stuff. And the football team gets it. Cheerleaders, so cheering them on, and well, that's pretty much it. All right, so fight, probably the best part of the whole movie. Seriously, you know, the ridiculous ridiculous amounts of drama and little quote unquote comedy. It's yeah, it was all right. Anyways, so what do I think about this movie? I think about I think about a good 2.5 stars out of 5. It didn't give me. I wasn't having much expectations for this movie as I saw the trailer, and I'm like, okay, we'll check it out. But I thought it would have been so much better if they just kept with more of the action and made it more of a story like that. Um, yeah, I think Jack Hill's best one is Foxy Brown and Coffee. Check those ones with Pam Grier. Those are really good. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed my content. Go ahead and put a like, subscribe, and share. Thank you all so much for letting me do what I do here. And until next time, lates.